Welcome to the Paradigm Shift, episode 113. Oof. What a time to be aligned. We're fresh off a PR at the Brooklyn Half Marathon this morning. Big Dave is joining us from Veecon, and we have a very special guest on whom I can't wait to introduce to y'all. We're in for such a treat. Let's get this party started. Y'all know the drill. Let's have some fun. Drop in the chat something that you're most excited about right now. And we're going to bring on Big Dave, also known as the Sex Goose, right now. Everybody's out today. Let's do this, baby. Dave Scott. Big Dave. Hey, handsome.
Hey, what's going on, man? This is episode
That's right.
113. Is that right? So, for the first time in years and years and years, I did not connect with one of my coaching clients, and literally, there are no excuses. No matter, if I was on a stage late, whatever. It's a great example because I knew I was cutting it close, and I trusted that Veecon would be on time. I had, Eric Thomas, Tom Bilyeu. We had Jim Quick, Jeff Hoffman, Clinton Sparks, Austin Eckler. And I literally am just looking at my watch going, that's okay. I'll be able to reaccommodate this. And then the problem with most of my coaching clients now is that they use time like I do. So there was no prioritization or readaptation. So I'm hoping today you and I can reconnect, if not tomorrow. I owe you 15 to 20 minutes of mentoring.
It feels good.
Yeah, I do.
No problem.
Thank you very much for your patience.
I'm excited to see you. How's Veecon going? Give us your biggest takeaway so far.
My biggest takeaway is the stage theory. That there's the biggest companies and people here, right? Deepak, all the ones that are here, but we stole the show, man. We use the stage theory. So I have my own stage, and I have my own podcast studio with the big LED backgrounds. You've seen some of the content, but you'll see it all. And it looks better than the main stage. I'll be on main stage for those who are listening at 3 o'clock today at Lucas Oil Field, right? I have my studio at SoFi, so I know how to deal with an arena. And all the Veecon chat is talking about is Gary's garage, and Dave Meltzer's activation is popping off. We've had the biggest guest in the podcast studio. We've had the biggest stage here. The only thing that was missing was Siegel the Eagle flying high above, dropping bombs and nuggets. But every one of our boys say hi. We've had Rick Jordan, and just everyone's been here. Drew Barrymore was here. It's been amazing. So everyone out there, if you don't know what the stage theory is, email me, david@dmeltzer.com. It's the future. Craig knows what it is. He's using it right now. The stage theory is the future of content.
I'll definitely be at the next one. I conquered a half marathon this morning for you. That was fun. I'm going to join you next month in Toronto. I believe I'm excited about that. But I'm so happy that you're having such a good time. We have an awesome guest on today who I'm going to bring on in a minute. But as always, I'd love to ask you a quick question before we bring on Travis. Looking at your content, as everybody should be immediately, I saw you say something I haven't heard before, Dave. And that was this. Don't expect anything unless you vote on it. Tell us more.
Yeah, I learned that from James Clear, who wrote Atomic Habits. So James and I got together, and I was talking about intention, and attention equals the coincidences, consequences, and karma in your life. It's a mathematical equation. And he's like, Dave, have you ever thought about it in the context of voting for something? See, when you vote for something, you're putting your attention and intention into it. And so in order to adapt your expectations, and I expect miracles. And I'll tell you why, because I expect miracles because of who God is. I will receive miracles because who I am. and I will share miracles because I am part of God. But I need to vote on what I want. I need to do, say, think, feel, and believe at its highest frequency in a trajectory towards what I want. I need to vote for it. And so I'm always in the biggest takeaway or lesson from that lesson, Craig, is that you want to be able to help people and empower them. You know, you can talk attention plus intention equals coincidence. You can talk about the 5 levels of intention, but I'm always looking for the simplest ways to illustrate how it encompasses what you're talking about. And isn't it amazing how I have taught you and worked with you on this exact measure, but it's the idea of how simple voting for what you want is. And I'll tell you, my favorite quote is applicable to this. You know, I always have a favorite quote of the day or the week. This one's killer. And it reminds me of you, Craig. So the quote goes like this: if you want great, it's going to start with hard. But if you want amazing, like the eagle, Craig Siegel, it's going to start with impossible. And as you ran the half marathon today, your life starts with impossibilities. You make them possibilities. You turn them into probabilities. You then participate in the perception of voting for what you want, which makes it your reality. And I want to congratulate you for illustrating to everyone how voting for what you want makes those expectations a reality by utilizing impossible
This
to
is
make
so
you
good.
amazing.
I'm so happy I asked you that specific question. That's an awesome topic, and I receive all of that. And I'm excited to dive in more about that with you going forward. We're going to bring on our guest right now. You and I will definitely not be the strongest one on this conversation. Tenacious Travis, I'm so excited about it. Let's have some fun, and let's get nuts right now. Dave, when are you coming back?
I leave at 6 p.m. tonight. I have my daughter's graduation party in California. There he is, my friend Tiny Travis.
What's up,
What's
guys?
going
How you doing?
How you doing, brother? Thank you for joining us. How are you?
Thank you for having me on, man. I'm great. It's a beautiful morning out here in Reno, Nevada.
You're a man. You know, hey, Travis,
I've met him
you
a
know
few
Flex
times, yeah.
Lewis? Yeah, I figured. Well, I call Craig. He's Flex Jewish.
That's awesome. You're a little easier to understand than
Take
Flex
off your
is.
shirt, Craig. Let's see it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
There's so many places we can take this conversation today. I want to make the most of our time. For our audience who might not have been familiar with Travis, do a deep dive. He's got awesome content. He talks about cool stuff, gratitude, all of it. But I just wanted to come out swinging right out the gate. Travis, I'm curious. How much does mindset play into strongman competitions?
Oh man. Okay. If you don't have a strong mind, even if you have a strong, ridiculously strong body, if you don't have a strong mind, you'll collapse. And I've seen that time and time again. There were guys that were just brute force stronger than me that couldn't beat me because I just pushed a little harder than they would. You know, you've got to do events that they not only push the physical limitations strength-wise, but they push your limitations, cardiovascularly, endurance-wise. You have to take these heavy weights and then move them a certain distance. And, if you're mentally weak, you're just going to crumble under the pressure.
Amen. Dave, same frequency?
Oh my God, he's amazing. As you and I begged to have him come on, and we're just so blessed to have him. And the reason he's so amazing is he depicts something that's so important when you look at the physical life, what I call life circumstances, compared to life. And that mindset exists in life. It exists in an infinite realm where we have impossibilities, possibilities, miracles happening, where people do things that you can't even imagine. Your reality exceeds other people's imagination when you can reconcile through mindset life circumstances. You see, there's plenty of guys, and coming as a sports agent and dealing with some of the strongest, fastest, unbelievable people in the world, but yet there's the, John Randalls who played, or Austin Eckler was here, for example. Austin Eckler, Division II, undrafted. How is it he's the number one running back in the NFL versus like Derrick Henry and all these amazing specimens? Because he understands life circumstances right? He does his best, but it's his mindset that makes the real difference. Even though there's tons of people bigger, stronger, faster than Austin Eckler, there's no one better. And the same thing holds true with Travis as well.
And this kind of ties into something else I saw you talking about, Travis, which was awesome. And that's the fact that no one's coming to save you, and you got to be your own hero, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's not a team sport. It's all you. And I think the years of practice in strongman probably saved my life, because a few years ago I kind of fell off the edge of the earth. I broke mentally. Let's just say I competed too hard, too long, pushed way too far, and dug too deep, and I just I snapped, and I fell into addiction, and then dealt with that for a few years, where I lost literally everything, and kind of clawed my way out of hell by myself. I was so used to digging deep and doing it all myself that mindset, that ability ended up saving me, because I was able to claw my way out of hell and get back on top.
Dave, you know a thing or two about rock bottom.
Yeah. Yeah, my bottom had a basement, man. And I'm with you. I always say, people ask me about religion or spirituality, and I said, I'll tell you one thing I do know. Religious people are afraid of going to hell. Spiritual people, the master mindset, they've been to hell. They're just afraid of going back. And that's where I stand. And it was my mindset when I went from, owning 33 homes in San Diego alone to literally a rented house with rented furniture, one car, 3 daughters under the age of 10, and a pregnant wife, that I dug deep. And I was involved in drugs and alcohol and the wrong people and the wrong ideas. And my wife set my ass straight and said, take stock in who you are and what you want to become, because I don't like what you're becoming. And when I took that mindset, it was just a matter of time, just like Travis, until I understood that I was my own superhero, that if I didn't take care of myself, it didn't matter what anyone else thought or did or who I was responsible for or wanted to do things for. I couldn't give what I didn't have. So I started to love myself, and now I can love so
that's
many.
the foundation, right?
So many.
If you can't be loved if you don't love yourself. It starts there. So people try to find that in relationships or, followers or whatever. But it starts with loving yourself, and you'll never be satisfied unless you have that as a foundation. And there's something about that rock bottom, that finding the depths of hell. And, I guess what you said about being a spiritual person versus a religious person, spiritual person has been to hell. So I guess I consider myself a spiritual person, because I'm definitely afraid of going back, man. Thank you. But, there's a certain strength that you find when you've been to the bottom and you've clawed your way out. When you realize that you're hard to kill, that gives you a power like nothing else.
Wow. That just hit hard.
I haven't heard it put that way, man. I love that. If you find out you're hard to kill, man, you become hard to kill. It's amazing. That's a great way to look at it. It's interesting because, Travis, one thing comes to mind, Craig, as well. One of the things I'm exploring now is I'm trying to find somebody of exceptional capability, a spirit of excellence that hasn't hit rock bottom. Like, I'm trying to find that kid that was grew up rich, wasn't sexually abused, lived a really good life, and somehow pushed themselves to the highest level without, something like big, without going to hell, right? Or I'm trying to find someone out there like that, and I haven't found it.
Or mentor. I think that's the only way that could ever happen.
Wow. Yeah. Amen. But also, pain is the portal. Sometimes we need, right, to really bounce off. But yeah, a good mentor. I would say that's the only way as well.
Yeah, change is uncomfortable, and growth is not comfortable. So the only way to truly grow is to, go through that painful experience, and that's kind of the unfortunate truth about it. But like you say, looking for that one person that hasn't had to go to hell in order to be something great. Maybe the only way that could be is with a really good mentor, I think.
Wait, Travis, what did you just say before? What was that one-liner?
Which one?
Something about uncomfortable?
Well, change is never comfortable. You have to be extremely uncomfortable to grow and become something great.
Unbelievable stuff. Hell yeah. Dave, we'll land the plane with this plan. I know you're traveling and it's Saturday. Dave, you're the king of gratitude. But Travis, I saw you post, and by the way, I suggest everyone check out Travis' content immediately after this. I saw you talking about your gratitude practice, and I thought this was awesome and authentic. You said it's not always easy to practice gratitude sometimes when you're going through it, but you have a 5-step process or 5 things that you're grateful for that's part of your rituals that you can always revert back to. Is that right?
So yeah, I mean, there's good weeks and there's bad weeks, and I try to do a Monday gratitude post every week, and some weeks are easier than others. And I remember a couple of weeks ago, one just being difficult because I was having a really bad time. But one of the ways that I got myself out of hell was to start focusing on gratitude. In other words, changing the lens of how I saw the world from pessimism to grateful. And, you looking at the same scene, the same world around you, but with a different filter on. So you see completely different world. But I created a gratitude list. The moment that my life began to change for the better was when I found something to be grateful for. It was really simple. It was really difficult, but it was a simple thing to find. It was the fact that I had my own 2 feet, and I could get up and I could walk out of the hell that I was in. And I felt this surge of joy the back of my throat, from my stomach to the back of my head. And it was the first time I felt joy in years, because I've just lived in misery. I've lost everything. My family turned their back on me. My wife took my son and moved to England. That's where she was from. So I had to reverse this negative momentum that I had built for myself by finding something completely opposite to the way that I had been thinking. And I'd been thinking so negatively. I had this negative list that would kind of just start happening. Anytime I thought about what was going on in my life, I started going through this negative list. And I thought, maybe if I have a positive list, let's try that. And then I started with that one thing, just my feet. And then the next day I found my hands. It had to be simple because at the time, this is never fun to admit, but at the time I was living in a tweaker house, and a tweaker house is just full of sadness. Every corner had a memory of my kid, and then every other corner was just full of just shit. It was, but the power of that gratitude list really came to me. It was on the 5th day of practicing this. See, I found 4 different things, one new thing each day. On the 5th day, I couldn't find a new thing. So I went back through my previous 4. Now I had a gratitude list. That was probably the most powerful day, maybe second to that first day when I started the gratitude practice. Now I had a list. Anytime I felt bad, anytime that negative list started popping up in my mind, I started thinking about this. And I would force myself to go through my list. I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful. And I would do that over and over and over. I would do it 5 times to every one time the negative one would pop into my head until I started reversing that momentum. It took me about a year, but once that momentum started to shift, my life started to take off in a new direction. But it was a full year of hard work.
I did.
What's that?
I just was I've heard thousands of stories of world thought leaders like Travis and Craig and Deepak Sadhguru and Dr. Shah all agree the fastest and easiest way to change your life is to simply say thank you. Whether it's a list, saying thank you, physics, quantum physics, metaphysics support that. I just have one thing to add because it was so eloquently articulated by Travis. Remember this about gratitude. It's the simple things to do like gratitude that are simple not to do. And you could be in shit, literally, and start focusing focusing in on that simple thing, that lens of gratitude that leads to productivity and accessibility, that leads to a higher realm, a spirit of excellence, world champion, thought leader, heart leader, and handset leaders, the strongest mindset, heart set, and handset like Travis in the world are created by a simple thing to do that unfortunately is simple not to do. I'm so grateful that I got to meet you, Travis, finally. Craig, I'm so grateful. 113 episodes of a paradigm shift, an idea, and impossibility that's everyone's reality. I got to go to Veecon here and go speak. Hopefully we'll contact you, Travis, soon.
Hey, nice.
Thank
Craig,
you
have a
both.
great day. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, Travis, thank you, brother. That was awesome. And I'm looking forward to staying connected and for sharing your awesome stuff with all of our communities.
Hey, man, I appreciate the talk. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, hell yeah. Have a great day. We'll connect soon.
All right, man.
Later,
Bye.
brother.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. We're an awesome conversation, guys. The Paradigm Shift, episode 113 in the books. If you weren't familiar with Travis, do yourself a favor and change that immediately. Check out his content. That gratitude stuff is pretty powerful. And they brought up a great point. Sometimes the easiest things are also not so easy to do. I'm flying high from this morning's fresh Brooklyn Half Marathon PR. I see the whole crew is out today. Zombies in the house. Kelly, I love you all. Sharpen the axe, connect, and collaborate. And we got a huge announcement coming very soon in regards to the book. And when I say soon, I mean any day now. Might even be tomorrow. The Reinvention Formula. I love you guys. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Travis. Let's have an unbelievable weekend and sharpen the axe. You dig?